Hello, this is Retro Ryuzuki 81, and I want to record this for my records in the history of my channel and my trainings. Now, when I first started training this karate martial art, it was a few lessons at the age of 10, and for whatever reason, I won't say here or just don't really like talking about it, but I did not continue my training at age 10. But what happened is I have always like aspired and wanted to be like the martial arts movie actors and the video games, what you see on a screen. And so what happened is, again at age 14, finally, I was I was able to get some training, and I was getting really good training, but it wasn't the really good training. I don't think only that brought out my talent. I think it was more like a natural gift at age 14, and you can see on the left there was that Lincoln Park band shell where they have it's like a military campground also, but it wasn't just the training. It was more like a natural born gift of karate talent and martial arts talent overall. Any martial art I could do. But so what I'm really saying here is that okay, so the talent that I displayed at age 14 was very special, and it did include this fight choreography from Shenmue. Now, there may be one or two moves that my Dan teachers just gave me the credit for, and the rest I recognize them all doing at one time or multiple times in class training sessions. And sometimes these moves I did on my own, and they just thought these moves would work. And they never, like the Da instructors, they're professional as they are, and they never thought that they wouldn't work these moves. And these moves, some of them I just taught myself, and I've recognized some of these moves in movies that I've never seen until just a few years ago. And, that's just because I don't know how that happened, but like if you take, for instance, Mud Spider, I saw the I forget his name, but the primary the main star actor from No Retreat, No Surrender, and that's not the bad guy role of JCVD, but like, okay, so he's the Russian guy, but then the American guy, he's it's like you jump off the ground and you kick the guy in the face with by pushing yourself off the ground. And so that's Mud Spider. But I just did that a few times naturally. It came out of my class. And so these moves, they're not like they're not the hardest to do, but they're more challenging, and it's old school karate. If you take, for instance, the talent they use today, they don't always get into that old school talent. I noticed they get into some of that old school talent in Cobra Kai, and that's a good series. I do like Cobra Kai, but the training has to really be, rigorous, and it has to be taught. And if you notice, a lot of those actors doing those moves are like teenagers or in their early 20s, and they're in their prime, and they're doing these moves. They're not as easy to do, these moves, the older you get. And if you live a crappy, harsh, hard life like I do in Detroit, And without my money that I know I already earned so long ago, and then it went to other people or something, to my knowledge, it just, it's a bunch of crap. But that's what's life is like. If you're not in the know, if you're not in the circle of people that know all these things that are going on, you're screwed, man. And that's what happened to me, because there was maybe a few people that were in my life that were in the know, but they didn't want me to know, did they? So, you know, and then for me to get my money back today, for me to get my life back, I don't know if that would happen. It probably won't happen, because I'll look too damn good before I die, before I get too old. And, I'm not looking forward to dying anytime soon, but before I get too old to do this and live that life, people just get too jealous. And that's how these martial arts can be. When people get too jealous, they say, no, you're not that cool. You're not that good enough. I'm better than you, and you make me sick because you think you're that cool. That's what my life has been like for being this Shenmue guy, the actual, real, undocumented, real Hazuki, and the real Jin Kazama, the first one before that other guy, John Fu. That John Fu, they must have just sold us off, my federation, to another federation in martial arts, or they must have just, I don't know what they did, because they even give this guy a dislocated shoulder in the movie Tekken. Now, I had that from a car accident, but you see, that's, that's after this happened. So I think my karate federation has always been following me and recording my history, and just like following everything that goes on in my life. So, there's a lot I could say. There's a lot I could not say. I mean, I don't know how to record podcasts on here, so I just don't say all these truths. But they come out when I narrate these videos. I've got to upload like a thumbnail photograph on my podcast on my computer to do it, but I'm not always that tech savvy to just be in the know to do that too. So anyway, the moves are special. I want to say these moves are very special, and the talent's very special. And I like to entertain people, but the things I say might offend certain audiences in my community, because this is where I come from and this is where I'm from. But I don't like to be here. But at the same time, you don't have a choice sometimes in life where you're living, where what you're doing, and you can't get out until you can get out, And if you can't get out, well, you got to make something more of your life. After I already made something of my life with Shenmue, then I didn't get credit for it. Now, that's the problem I have. There's some knowledge about Shenmue that I believe I have that I'm not even saying. And I may never say, because it might cause trouble. But that's the problem. You see, I am somebody online for Shenmue, and I am somebody online, but then I can't believe I only have 840 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I wonder if the legal systems have something to do with like covering up a lot of truths about, the undocumentation of what I achieved and what and who I really am, because I'm not just doing these moves. They're not just easy to do. They're easy to do for me, some of them, because I am who I am. I mean, but for me to get this talent back in that perfect body, is it really worth it? Because it's hard. It's hard to get out of Detroit. You know what they say about Detroit? It's really, really hard to get out of here. There's people that they're just here, they want to stay here, or they're here and they want to get out one day, and not everybody gets out. That's what it's like in the factory working state of Michigan. is the big three, car city. Everybody drives a car. If you're living here, mostly, it's not New York, it's not San Francisco, but it is Detroit. And let me say, I do love the state of Michigan. I care about Michigan, but at the same time, the other feelings I have, I try to hide because of conflicting interests in my life. Thank you.